Well, hello and welcome. My name is Frank Villardo. I'm a professional musician living in Philadelphia, playing a number of bands. I lead my own group called the Ardvark Felon. I teach a bunch. I probably have close to 20 private students in my neighborhood. And I run a really fun open mic night at the Philadelphia Brewing Company. Been doing that for 8 years. It's every Wednesday, 8 to 11. And if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in the area, you should totally come out. We'd love to hear you. Becoming a really nice little scene. So some friends, like people at the open mic, family, and some students have been kind of encouraging me to do some of these videos talking about music or guitar stuff, explaining some concepts. So I thought I'd give it a try. Even my uncle, who plays music, inspired me, was asking me about sixths on the guitar. So I thought, well, that would be something I could throw a video together about. And if I talk about anything that you're unfamiliar with, let me know, and that could be something else that we can work on. So let's see. Sixths. What are sixths? They are an interval. Interval is the distance, not just on the guitar, but in music, the distance from one note to the next. You may have heard of a major third, a minor third. They have a certain sort of sound, and you want to become familiar with it. Here's a major third versus a minor third. Versus all the other intervals there are too. The smallest interval we have is a minor second, and that's basically anywhere on the guitar. It's going from one fret to the very next fret in either direction. That's a minor second, going from 0 to the first fret. The Jaws theme is a minor second. So and watch this. It's very simple. If you have first fret or 0 to 1, or it could be 5 to 6. Anywhere like that, one fret to the next is going to be a minor second. That's the smallest interval we have to work with. I'm not including bending or using your whammy bar, because of course you can get those little microtones, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So we got minor seconds. We have major seconds. Would be putting two minor seconds together, or two half steps gives you a whole step, gives you a major second. So that would be going from 0 to 2, or 5 to 7, 2 fret jumps. So just going back from using 0 as our home base here. Minor seconds, 1 fret. Major seconds, 2 fret jump. 3 frets would be a minor third. Up to the 4th fret, now we have a major third. And then we have a perfect 4th. Now we're going to have our tritone, or our augmented 4th or diminished 5th. Then we have our perfect 5th. And if the perfect 5th, also known as a power chord, if you were to play it E and B together. Whenever we play a power chord, we're playing a perfect 5th. Because usually a power chord is nice and low, and I wouldn't really call it a power chord if you're playing it up here, but it's still a power. It's still a 5th. It's still a perfect 5th. All right. So after our 5th, that's where we get into our sixths. So the first one would be a minor 6th. And then E all the way up to C sharp at the 9th fret would be our major 6th. And then after that, we would have our minor 7th, and then our major 7th, and then our octave. Cool. And that's where the guitar would start over again. This is the note E, open string, up at the 12th fret. That's also the note E, just an octave higher. And that's why, as you may know, that's why we got our 2 dots by the 12th fret. Just kind of let you know that that's kind of where things start over again. All right, so these sixths, we hear it all over. We have actually, if you've been playing the guitar for a little bit, you've played these shapes, so it shouldn't be too hard. Just kind of like, put it all together a little bit more. So let's see. Taking like just your regular old C chord, right? So within this C chord, we're playing a minor sixth. If we take away the note that our ring finger is playing, and actually, just so get rid of your ring finger, and now try to only play the 2 strings that you're holding down, like no open strings, just the B string, 1st fret that you're holding with your index finger, and then the middle finger plays the D string, 2nd fret. So I'm like plucking those strings, or you can alternate the notes. But that right there is a minor sixth, and I have to say that it still confuses me sometimes, because this sounds very majory. It sounds like C major, whereas like depending on where you're putting like the root, like here C is the root, so it kind of sounds, and our ears are hearing in the key of C right now. But if we kind of switched it around so that like E was the root, like think of E minor, and then we go up to C, that sounds like more major. And that's kind of true with like all the notes. I mean, like even like if you take a regular major chord like C major and stack it in like thirds, you have a major third on the bottom from C to E. But then if you were to go from like the E to the G above that, that's a minor third. So even in like that, there is a major interval and a minor interval. But I don't know, sixths still seem to do it for me. So it's just something that I'm always working on. So let's see. What I want to do is show you how to play a major scale in sixths. And I'll show you what I think is like the easier way. There's a few different ways to do it. You could play the sixths, within a position. So like kind of going across the neck this way, like this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So again, you can either stagger the notes or play them together, but you have I messed that up, because when you start on the root like that, just what I was like talking about before, if I go E to A, that's not a C chord because there's no A in a C chord. This is more of an A minor chord right now. But you think, I'm harmonizing like a major scale, putting the sixth on top, kind of like flips it around a little bit. So let's just do that one more time. And I'm going to start here with E on the bottom, closer to like how it was down there. So like E to C, right? Sounds more major. See, that's better. Whoops. Yeah, right, there it is. Or you can play it on 2 strings, like going up like this. So rather than kind of having a string in the middle of my fingers, now I'm just E to C, just 2 adjacent strings. So then the next one would be F and D. Yeah, there you go. You can go backwards. But now I think a good one that I want to start with that like has fingerings that you might have like seen before would be kind of going back to this like C shape here. So we have C up top, E on the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to play up the C scale starting on, let's just run through it on the B string first. So you have your note B here. Your note C, I'm sorry, on the B string, first fret. So just to find the notes, it doesn't matter what finger you use right now, but how about index? And, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 13. There's our scale, C major. Try to do that. I like doing scales on one string like that because it does kind of show you like the formula of how these scales are put together. It's harder to know like the half steps and the whole steps and the major seconds and the minor seconds when you're just kind of doing it like that across the strings. But here you can clearly see that there's a 2 fret jump right off the bat. So you know you're starting with like a major second, another major second, then a minor second. So, and another way to talk about this would be like in whole steps and half steps. Like whole step, distance from the first note to the second note, another whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So anyway, we're going to do the same thing now, but we're going to do it on the D string. And of course, on the D string, we can't get down to the note C because we run out of room. So we're going to at least use that note C. We're going to find it on the A string. So it's C, D. Now we're on the D string, and we're going to stay on the D string. We're going to go up to E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Let's try that again. 3 on the A string, C, open D, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14. And let's use our middle finger for all of that. So that's the first shape, right? We got our C and our E happening there. Now, the other shape that we're going to need for these exercises, the major sixth, is basically like what you're playing when you play an A7 chord. If you like think of your A7 right there, and you play just the 2 notes you're holding down. I'm using my middle finger on the D string and my ring finger on the B string. So even though that's not in this key that we're working with, but that's the shape you're going to use. Like any of these things, like you want to practice kind of. Practice them all over. Just because you learn like the notes for like a C chord doesn't mean that's the only place you should ever do it. It actually like will reinforce the shape if you do like move it around a little bit. You can play it with the open strings and get some interesting sounds. It'll work better in some places than in others. But just some fun stuff to mess around with. So, all right, we're going to alternate. We're either using the shape that comes right from the C chord, right? Or we're going to use the shape that comes from the A7 chord. We're going to play kind of like following what's happening on like the low strings. We're going to start on E on the D string, and we're going to play up the C major scale from there. So let's just do that one time. Only using the middle finger. E to E. All right. Now we're going to put the C on top, and what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you whether to use your index finger, which would mean it's 1 fret behind your middle finger, or you're going to use your ring finger, and it's going to be on the same fret as your middle finger. So you have, like the first one would be index and middle. The next one would be ring and middle. Then ring and middle. Index and middle. index and middle, ring and middle, ring and middle, index and middle. One more time. So, in my opinion, I think that's a good place to start because it just kind of shows you, the order of these minor and major sixths to play like up a major scale. Yeah, I would start by maybe just try playing the first two positions together, and just get comfortable going back and forth between those two spots. Then add the next one. Keep going. Yeah, right. So I like you're taking things and learning a scale, start with a little bit of it, and make music with it. Try to turn it into an experience rather than just, you can play this, right? Because you've played a C chord before. Maybe you got to work on aiming for the strings a little bit. But in that case, why would you be trying to do a whole neck thing when you got to work on being able to do this? And once you got a little bit of that in your muscle memory, then you can start exploring with the neck more. Or since it is the key of C, you can keep that open G string going. Double. Yes, that was just adding in some open strings with the same thing that we were just doing. So yeah, there's a little bit on sixth. We hear sixth, like I said, if I didn't say it, this is not the first take of this video, but like the NBC theme, you hear that sixth. I like Two of Us. You have a major sixth right there. And then even, keeping with the Beatles, of course, you have Across the Universe, which is all sixths. So you can try to figure that out using like these shapes. And of course, a really good one, I'll play it. It uses the same scale, the C major scale. So Lean on Me by Bill Withers is a great one for trying to practice your sixths. So you got, it just goes right up and down. Well, thanks so much, everybody. If you made it this far, I hope you you got something out of it. Leave a comment. You want me to talk about something musical, or I can get into some songs. We're going to post some of that kind of stuff. And please, check out the Ardvark Felon. Love to have some more, some people listening to the music. So I'm going to say goodbye, but until next time, keep practicing. See you soon.